The journey we're taking is the journey within you. Everybody has their own story and their own journey to share. Every journey conceals another journey within its lines. The path not taken and the forgotten angle. Listen to the stories from others sharing their triumphs and struggles that led them to where they are today. Welcome to the journey within you. I am just over the moon to have this precious sunshine with me today, and she is light. She is light. Her name is Lia Valencia Key, and I love saying your name. And I'm just so excited to have you here on my podcast so the listeners can hear your journey. And Lia, share your journey with us.
Oh, thank you. I'm so honored to be here and to share my journey. I feel that through hearing and seeing other people's journey, I'd love for all the listeners, for it to be just a visual to show you your journey is not going to look like mine, but life has clues, which I learned from Jamie and Tony and all the great people. They say other people's life shows you clues, and it's truly true. And you'll take some of those clues that resonate with you to show you that whatever's in your heart is possible. So I love starting from the very beginning, because naturally you'll see me and I'm always in yellow and I'm smiling. And you may think that I was born into this like happy, joyful state and environment, but it's quite the opposite. I was born in poverty, one of the most impoverished neighborhoods of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Born to a single mother of 3 children. So it's me, my brother, and my sister. I'm the youngest. My mother, I love, one of the most intellectual women that I've known. My mother's no longer with me. She passed early. But my self-diagnosis was that she was paralyzed by society stereotypes, generational curses, what the world had, what she was born into,
Expected
honestly.
to be, yeah.
She was paralyzed by that, but she didn't allow her brain to stay paralyzed, which was so cool, because I'll tell that in detail. So my mother was, just struggling, trying to stay afloat in this world where her mother was poverty. And she has 3 children, and we're living in a small basement apartment, violence, trash on the streets. But then we go from poverty to destitute because my mother breaks her leg in multiple places actually it was on a schoolyard, picking her children up, picking us up from school. I remember it so vividly. And that was a trajectory that just spiraled us truly into destitute, because now the little work that she was trying to get herself to do and manage, she could no longer do, right? I mean, all the way, she couldn't even afford this little basement apartment. So there was one day she's bringing us home, my sister and brother and I, and we get to the door and there's a padlock on the door. And now all of the little belongings we had are locked in. And we have no place to go. So this is a mother standing at a door that's locked with no place to take her 3 children. I'm not a mother, but I've experienced.
I can feel that in the heart right there.
In the heart, yeah. There's one thing for you not to have a place to go, but there's another thing. You look down and you created 3 lives, and you have no place for them to lay their head, no place for them to even call home anymore. And that sent us to a woman's homeless shelter. And I paint the picture of the homeless shelter because I think the very first day and a mid part of that journey was super transformational. If you read the book Worthy, I love anyone, Jamie Kern Lima, love of my life.
Right here.
Dear heart. Yes. It is life changing from a mindset perspective. Like if you know, you'd love to encourage your brain in a different way. It just, the book Worthy by Jamie Kern Lima just really, and so many different dexterities, in a funny way, in a very educational way. It takes you on this journey that helps you encourage your mind to shift into this worthiness, which is the root of what Jamie is really pouring out into the world of how we shatter glass ceilings. And
Right.
I can attest to that. So I share what the homeless shelter looks like so that you can experience what I experienced. And the first day was a big gym room, gray and dark, small cots, 1 foot apart, cots of these metal unfold beds. They're very hard. And the entire family gets one cot.
Oh my
So if you
gosh.
can imagine that,
How are you all
the
gonna be on one cot?
dehumanization of
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
So we have 4. We're young. Like I'm about 3rd grade, so about age 8. My brother's 2 years older than me. 10, sister 1 or 2 years older than him. What does that put her at? 12. So we're young, but that's still 4 whole bodies
Trying
like
to be on
trying
the
to
cot.
ball up on this area. So there's crying and moaning and sorrow and profanity just filling this room, this sea of like darkness and hopelessness. But I share it in such detail because in the midst of that darkness, my mother looks at her 3 children and she tells us your predicament does not determine your destiny.
What words? Wow.
Powerful. I mean, I'd like pause on that every time because that's just transferable now. Like, to be in the midst of anything, and it doesn't have to be darkness, it doesn't have to be challenge. I'd like to open your mind up to that. You can just be in a paralyzed phase, or you can be in a phase where you know there's something different or something more, or a place where you're like, this outside thing that I'm in is just not me anymore, even if it's great. Speaking the words out that your predicament does not determine your destiny is just so powerful. And the way my mother was able to, she wasn't physically able to take us out of that predicament.
Yeah.
But to speak the power of words into the light.
You.
How powerful is that? And so, and I'm able at 44 to speak those words out. And so I use that to say, wow, how powerful are words?
Yeah, I
Like
needed to
if you
hear those
can't,
today. I needed to hear
right?
those.
It
Yes.
doesn't. It doesn't.
Right.
And I'm a living witness. I'm able to be on your podcast and listen and share my heart with every heart that's here with us, because it is true that your predicament does not determine your destiny. And when you grab hold to that and truly believe it, it is life transforming. Now, I must admit, words are so powerful. And so I say, be conscious of the words that you speak out of your mouth.
Yes.
Because they are seeds. I truly, I feel like if you can't do an action, speak a word. And I feel like if you can consistently speak that word, it will, if you believe the words enough, it will catapult an action to grow.
Yes.
And so at that moment, I was just a seed because I really didn't understand it. I'm
Right. At
8.
that age, you're like, okay, mom.
I'm like, this is looking pretty destiny. It's
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
pretty destiny to me right now, right?
Yeah.
And so I become my environment, honestly. I start to become negative. I start to be everything that I see. And I'm failing every grade in school. Years are going past. We're still in a homeless shelter. They've just shifted us to a different type of a homeless shelter. And I share the second and probably one of the most impactful lights that was turned on in my early life was coming back to the homeless shelter from school, and I see my mother standing at the door of the homeless shelter. And she doesn't look happy. And I'm like, oh,
You know that look.
if
You know that look.
That mother's look, right? And it doesn't even have to be like your mother. It's like a motherly figure. You know when something's about to get corrected. And I'm trying to think, because I'm not my best self at this age. I'm like a couple years, maybe I'm 10 by now. So there's something that I've done, and I'm trying to go
The
through my
double
Rolodex.
digit age.
like, what have I done? What have I gotten caught for?
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna fess up to everything.
Yeah.
So I get to my mother, and she looks at me and she says, I love to speak in third person a little bit sometimes. And she says, Leah, do you want to be a follower or a leader?
Mhm.
And I'm like,
What is she talking about?
so she continues and she says, because right now you're following.
Mm,
And guess what, Leah? You're going to follow and become everything you see around you.
right.
Or, Leah, you can choose to lead. You can choose to lead your life. You have an inner light inside of you. You have a divine destiny, a whisper inside of you
Mm-hmm.
that you can choose to lead it all the way to your destiny, Leah. Now you choose.
Mm.
And the beauty of that, not only it's so much beauty in that.
Yeah, there
One,
is.
she didn't tell me what to do. She
Mm-mm.
just
She didn't
painted the
cut you
picture.
down. She didn't punish
She
you.
didn't cut me down.
Mm.
She spoke truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're following. And
Mm-hmm.
like, guess what? You're gonna be that. And I could see it because I was
Mm-hmm.
becoming all of that. So she painted that truth for me. And then she gave me the power of choice.
Making a choice.
And I don't think I really knew about choice until that point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I really thought, because when you're young, you're a sponge, you're soaking up everything. And I really
Yes.
thought, oh, this is just what we
Just
do.
what
This
we
is how
do.
we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Is what I see. Everyone else is
Right.
doing it. And until she unlocked this concept that, oh no, you choose who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of resonates with your predicament doesn't determine your destiny in another more tangible way. Like, oh no, there's you inside of you. The
Mm-hmm.
world is not you.
Right.
You can become the world,
Right. But you're supposed
or
to set yourself apart from the world.
you set yourself right. I am in the world. I am not of
Yeah.
the world.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that power was amazing, that you get to define you as who you are if you go inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to listen to who you are truly, and you get to choose that. And then that is leadership.
Right.
And that is leading. And I like to stop there. Like, when we talk about leadership, I'm like, whoa, she gave me like a real definition of leadership. Leadership is not leading other people. Maybe it's a byproduct later, but a real leader leads themselves to who they are, and not even like who they want to be, from this whisper of what they know is to be true for
Right.
themselves and for their
Right.
life. And you lead yourself all the way to that. And that
Mm-hmm.
is what destiny is. And that is how your predicament no longer becomes your destiny.
Exactly. Right. Right. I
Right? It's
love
like,
that.
well, how
Yes.
is your predicament not your destiny? Oh, because if you go inside and you listen to your truth, and your truth is like, this is not you.
Yeah.
This is not who you're supposed to be. This is not how you're supposed to be. This is not where you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be. And then you're like, oh, okay. So tell me a little more, self.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
And
mean,
if you start to
I
believe,
think it's so important. Like I've just since January thinking about stepping back and take self-evaluation,
yes,
because it's so easy to get tied up into something. You think you're doing the right way, and then you're like, whoa, you feel that inside, and you're like, that's not probably where I'm supposed to be going with that. So
that's not
step
what I,
back and take that self-evaluation and your core values and where, that whisper inside that, okay, I got it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
yes. And even now, like, what I also, as I evolved and start to really take that. So I start to take that. Like, one thing about me, and I'd love if this could be a key in your life. I after those words, it really spoke true to me to like use the outside world only as inspiration of what your inside self is telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
good.
so if your inside self says you are to be more than where you are, then when you open your eyes to look outside, then you start to see people where you know you're supposed to be. And then that's proof. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, I could do it because another
Yeah.
human Right?
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
human's out here doing it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it their way because
Right. Right.
it's not me,
Right.
but it's possible. And so I
Mhm.
start to use the outside world. No longer am I being the outside world.
So we're talking about, how we use the outside world to in a better way, not to follow it, but to start being an influence in ways. So where were you at on that, Leah?
Yes, where now I immediately start to have a different vision. I start to listen to the inside self, and I knew I didn't feel like what I was doing was where I wanted to be. I didn't want to fail these grades. So I remember the next day I literally went back to school and asked. So I love this part of, I still utilize it today. There's two ways of asking. For me, I ask up, and that means however you believe in.
Mhm.
I believe there's a higher power bigger than us, and I call
Yes.
it God. But whatever your belief system is, I pray up the
Mhm.
direct things that I need. I don't want to fail anymore. I want to do these things. Please help me in this journey.
Mhm.
Asking that specific question up, and then I'm putting my dreams out.
Mhm.
So then I speak them out of my mouth.
Mhm.
And I think it gives it so much power. I remember going back and asking, like, how do I get better grades? How do I see outside of the environment that I'm in? And
Mhm.
what happens is you're consistently sharing your visions and your dreams to people. My barometer is if you smile twice, you're some sort
I'm
of
a smiler.
exactly. So I would have shared all my dreams to you.
I mean, that is who I'm known for. I'm for my smile.
No, I love a smile because it's welcoming, right? And so,
Yeah.
like, if you're smiling, then I just share, and I'm not asking you specifically for help. So
Mhm.
I love saying that, like, when you're sharing out your dreams to other people, you're literally just allowing it to come out of your body and flow
Mhm.
into the world.
Mhm.
And what I believe to be true and what I've seen in my life is that then God connects the right earth angel that's assigned to your journey.
Yes. Yes.
And they'll take you one step further, a half step further. Maybe
Mhm.
they'll just clear out a little fog on the screen for you to see a little
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
right? Like they're not
Right.
supposed to take you to the
Mhm.
end of your destiny, but there are these beautiful earth angels that are specifically aligned and assigned to you. And we don't know who they are. So I say, please don't have expectations for people.
No, no, because I mean that's the thing. You can't think, well, I told that person and they didn't do nothing.
And they
Well,
were
that wasn't the
capable of
person
helping
that
you.
was supposed to be the one, you know?
Right.
And
They
I
were
was just
capable
thinking
of
here,
helping you on your journey. But,
yeah,
you
they've
know,
helped others in that their aspect of their journey. And I was thinking about when you were talking to these teachers and how they might have gotten a little bit of like, ooh, light inside of them thinking, she's serious. She
yes.
is shifting and
I
she's
can
ready for
imagine that, like
change
a teacher hearing,
because they see it every day too. Every day.
and for a teacher to see a shift
Mhm.
in someone, I'm sure is so beautiful, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if you can't force a shift in someone. It
No.
has, the
No.
exposure has, what I do know to be true is that you have to be exposed.
Yeah.
And so my mother, with her words, exposed me to
Mhm.
powerful knowledge that was the thing that unlocked it for me. And then
Mm.
I was able to now go and share this quest that I was on. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to be this. Can you show me just
What do I
one?
do?
What
Yeah.
do I do? And people should, and for the rest of my life up until now, beautiful hearts just continue to show up and just show me a little bit of the way.
Mm.
And so I encourage you, no one ever can take your dreams. No one ever can
Mhm.
dim your light. The only way that's possible is if you allow it.
Yep.
What I know,
You give it away.
you give it away. There are going to be people that you share these things, and maybe they did smile twice, and when you tell them, you're like, "Ooh, they're a
That
dream
didn't
killer." Ooh. And
back up.
it back up, acknowledge it, and just say, "Well, I'm not going to share my dream with them
Yeah.
anymore."
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't affect you and your
No.
dream, and
No.
they can have a full they can literally have full reasoning why they're telling you opposite of what's true. And what you get to do is listen to your inner self. And that's the beauty of what my mother was sharing. Like, it's all in here.
Mm-hmm. God created this. I mean, and
Yes.
it was with a purpose, and you've got to tap into that. And that's like I was sharing with Aaron last week on our podcast, and how God will lay things right at your feet. And how many times did Leah that we just walk over it, walk over it.
And here's the encouraging part. I've heard people like, oh, it'll be laid at your feet and it's not going to come back again. Yes, it will. It will come back again and again and again. It may not look the same.
Mm-hmm.
God's not going to give up on you.
Mm-mm.
You
Mm-mm.
give up on you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can be at your lowest low. You can be at your low, like you've done it all. You've done all the wrong things. You made all the wrong decisions, or maybe it wasn't anything that you've done. Life just came in with storm after storm after storm, and has just cut you down.
Mm-hmm.
And I know God is still there for you. I'm having a blessed opportunity to do a jewelry collaboration. I'll get to how all this happened.
Yeah.
Point, but we'll skip until the tease. A beautiful jewelry collaboration with host Kirsten Lindquist. She's a host on QVC.
Oh.
And we have like dream sessions together. It's just that concept of just speaking your dreams out. Get around people
that want to hear and want to share. Yeah.
Yes, and that you all can just speak wild dreams, like things that don't seem possible, and y'all can just share them to each other and just have it resonate in someone else's heart.
Yeah.
And we do have dream sessions, and a collaboration came together because she loves the ocean and she loves the beach, like her peaceful place. And as we were sharing dreams, and then we were also sharing about life and how life brings these heavy storms and these heavy waves, like the ocean gets rough. One day she was walking on the beach, and whatever she was feeling, she started to see all these sand dollars.
I love those.
Yeah.
I love those. I used to collect them with my mom.
She exposed this to me. I didn't get to go to the beach, when I was younger. So I don't know about the beach. And I was like, what is this? And she just started to share like all these these are her sand dollars, all these little sand dollars.
I know, they're beautiful.
They just start popping up in her footsteps. And it was like a divine visual from God saying, like, yes, life has high waves and rough storms and turbulence, and the waters can get super hectic. The water can knock you out the boat. It can do a whole bunch of things, but like the sand dollar reveals itself on land from all of the hard, rough turbulence of waters and where it's went to, for you to visually see. And it arrives in these beautiful
and be gorgeous. Yes, I know.
Gorgeous. And such is our life. Like, such is our life. Like, you will get to land. If we talked about this earlier, Laura, like if you start to allow your body to be buoyant to the water, flow with the water, be flexible, even in the rough times of life, so you don't break.
Right.
You may get chipped. What the favorite part is, like, you'll find these sand dollars.
Yeah, with a little chip on it.
Your chip, you got a little bruise,
little bruise.
Still solid. You got a little bruise, and that's your character. Because when I see a beautiful sand dollar like that, it has even more character. Like my journey of poverty, and now I'm still in a journey of seeking my truth, going after dreams bigger than I can even imagine. Going from homeless to failing to getting honor roll.
That's just
and saying that I was going to go to college and having no possible way to get there, and consistently speaking it out, getting the grades to support it, doing the work, even when I was hungry and we had no food. Like showing up for the inner you that is supposed to be, even when the outside you is quite the opposite.
Right.
right? Like
yes.
the outside you may have nothing, but the inside you is full of
It's so
riches.
full. Yeah. Yeah.
So keep showing up for the inside you, like starving and trying to study, because the inside me was full and knew that I just had to keep filling
Keep
myself
filling it up. Yeah.
until we get to where we're supposed to be. And that is the same for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so my life started to take me, if you say, on this sand dollar journey of just following the hard
Mm-hmm.
waves and just knowing that I was going to get to land to see. So that collaboration, it's a beautiful jewelry necklace ring that should launch in April
Oh, how
on
exciting.
PVC. And so wonderful. I'd love for you all to
Oh, definitely.
tune in when it launches.
Oh,
I'll let
yeah.
you know.
Okay.
But that's been my journey, right? And so I followed these waves knowing that I had, my destiny was land. My destiny was this place.
Yes.
And I started to follow it all the way to college. I became the first and only person in my family and in the neighborhood that I came from
Yeah.
to go to college, get my undergrad degree. My mother told me to complete everything. You don't have
Yeah.
to be
Don't
consistent.
start. You got to
If
finish.
you're going to start it, finish it.
Yes, ma'am.
So I completed that, got a
Sounds like my mama.
education. And I
Mhm.
love those because it's torture when you hear it. You're like, I don't
Yeah.
want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
No.
Great. It's not for you. What's the completion of it? There's a completion in everything. Okay.
Yes.
Is the degree the completion? Then if it's not for you, that is absolutely fine. Complete it and get the degree and then move to another
Mm-hmm.
destiny. But
Calling.
never
Mm-hmm.
leave things open in life.
Right.
Finish
Oh,
them
that's so
to a
good.
point that you can finish them so that you
Yeah.
can say I've done.
Yeah.
Not that I was doing, that I've
Doing and then, yeah.
right.
Mm-mm.
And so that's a beautiful key
Yes.
for anyone, meaning like there's something you started. Finish it. Decide what the completion is
Mm-hmm.
and just complete it. Even if it doesn't feel like it's the right part of your journey, just
Right.
complete it so that you can
But
say,
there'll be something in there that has taught you.
that's the
Always.
thing. It's
Always.
always good. It's
Yeah.
always good.
Yeah.
It's always riches for your soul and for your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I completed this master's in education and I taught a little bit, but I went back in myself because I found myself, I keep words in my heart always. And I found myself again kind of following the world, but following the world because I was fearful of being poverty again. And I was
Yeah.
trying to do anything to not be
Not
hungry.
go back there. Yeah.
Anything to not be hungry. And it's like, what do I do? Oh, everyone says if I go to college and do these things, then a career will come out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was trying to find that because of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And it served me well because, you know, college is not for everyone, I think. But completing college and understanding how to navigate through a
Through
system,
all that. Mm-hmm.
because I was the only person to go to college in my family. My mother didn't know anything about college. So I literally was there on
Had
my,
to teach yourself. Yeah.
and there's some power in teaching yourself,
Yes.
some power
Yes.
in like navigating,
Yes.
like I'm gonna get out of here. There were so many of us hearts that were very low income that happened to make it. And when I looked around, very few of us were standing there at graduation day because
They gave up.
they gave up because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah.
how to go anywhere. And so I say to all hearts listening, have a perseverance spirit.
Mm.
Like decide what it is and then say it is so, and I will do everything needed for it to be so.
To happen. Yeah.
Right. So I had decided that I was going to college because I didn't know what college was going to do for like career. Everyone said it was going to be a career thing, but I knew it was a way out of my predicament.
Yeah.
We moved from a homeless shelter to a housing project, which is the same thing as a homeless
Yeah.
shelter.
Yeah.
It's just conformed.
Yeah.
So that's what I lived my whole entire life up until high school, ending of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to see something different, and college was my way out,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was determined to make it through that. I was determined to complete that. by any means. At the same time, my mother was passing. My mother was deathly ill.
Mm.
And life had just taken over. She could no longer hold on. And we had one conversation before she passed. And she said, I got to come back. Went to Penn State. I was going to school, trying to come back.
I'm home. Yeah.
In between, not giving up. All of me should have said, just come home.
Yeah.
And so I tell someone, don't just give up.
Right.
Someone somewhere listening, and they're in the thickest of the roughest part of something, and they're on the verge of doing the next thing, and they're between giving up or completing. And so I pray that
Don't give up.
it says, don't give up.
Don't give up. Mm-mm.
If you hear anything that I say, don't give up. There is so much on the other side of it. Now there's other struggles on the other side.
Oh yeah. They don't ever all go away.
But don't give up, because there is something on the
Because
other.
you're building resilience and you're getting stronger through each thing you go through.
Like you're getting chipped, but
Yeah.
your beauty is coming and being created through all of these waves. So my mother and I, one of our last conversations was super beautiful. She said, I see you shiningly. I see you listening to the inner light and listening to your inner whisper and choosing and leading your life to your destiny. And it's so beautiful. And she gave me these little earrings. And she said, always wear your earrings every day. When you put them on, let them be a reminder, because life is really rough sometimes. And you'll forget that you have a light inside of you. And so allow your earrings to just be
your light.
Reminders that the light's always within you. All you have to do is choose it.
Yep.
All you have to do is choose to unlock it. And that was just so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Visual to me. We need visual.
I need visuals. I'm a visual.
I need visuals. Yeah. I'm a visual person.
Me too.
I can hear stuff, but when I see it, when you attach something physical for me to see, like that's the type of learner I am too. Like a teacher could talk to me, but then if they go write a symbol on a board, or if they go do a demonstration, then I'm like, got it.
That's it. I got it.
For life. And so now she had paired this life message to me to have a symbol that I could always attach to the truth. And she shortly passed after that. And I just start hand sketching jewelry for therapy and reminders of her beautiful words. And like, okay, what would I sketch to be a visual wearable reminder? What would that look like for me? And I start to hand sketch, and I actually like have my little hand sketch book here.
Yeah.
And that just was a hobby for me. So I go on throughout my life. And I have this master's degree, and it's feeling, I love education, but it was very incongruent. It was more of a battle than the truth. You know what I mean? It was very uncomfortable. And I know the difference between, and we all know the difference. We know the difference between uncomfortable because you got to go through it to get to it. And then uncomfortable just because this is not aligned.
It's not aligned. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wait, Lia, you have words of truth in you. Your mother said, come inside. Find what your light is, what your destiny. And I got outside of the world, and I said, well, what is light for me? What beams my soul? And I really took moments to time to understand, like, where do I beam? Where do I shine? And it was creativity.
Yeah.
And it was quite opposite. And I'm like, God is funny.
He is, because he does that. He lets you go through all that. He's like,
all of the stuff. Like, really? Because here's the thing, like, I'm 44, so there was no real social media at that time to see artsy people being very successful.
Yeah.
Like, from where that journey was, like, arts was a struggle. Like, you were living your truth, but I didn't see a trajectory of not being hungry in the art.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, that's cruel, because that's everything I'm running from. Right. And then I'm like,
it usually is.
Right. And like, wait. And so I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. that is my light. So then I did to take time, and this is for you, like, there is a way to be all of you and still be okay.
Yeah.
And you just have to take time to process what that looks like
Mm-hmm.
and kind of play with different forms of it. And what I came up with was like, oh, creativity also can be in hair and makeup.
Yeah.
It's a form of creativity, but there is a demand for it. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was like, well, I could do that. I know people will probably hire me. So I went
Right.
on this
Right.
creative journey with a master's degree. I wound up going back to school, getting a cosmetology license, sweeping salon floors. I share that because life is not a straight journey,
Mm-mm.
and it's not all roses. And
No.
you don't always, you have a dream, and sometimes you don't know the specific dream, and sometimes you got to go down in the valley to come
In
up,
order to come back up. Yeah.
right? If you know where you're going. Like the
Right.
valley is okay when you know where your peak point
Right.
is. And
Right.
so I went down in that valley of sweeping floors with a master's degree. So humble yourself. Those things don't matter. Like, where you
Mm-mm.
going? Is this going to get you where you're going? Go sweep the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason why I was sweeping the floor is because this salon actually was a learning salon. And one of my friends was like, oh, like, you'll learn everything. You'll learn all different hair textures. And so there was power. There's education
Mm-hmm.
and knowledge is priceless.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got there and I humbled myself. And in that way, I found, I learned about QVC. And QVC, I was like, oh, it's 24-hour TV. If anyone's not familiar, it's
I know.
24
It's just
7.
always on.
It's always on.
Yeah.
They're sharing products from dreamers and creators. And I was like, oh, there's a salon in there, I'm sure. And so I set my trajectory on being in this QVC salon.
Oh.
I never wanted to be a stylist for clients. I just wanted to create,
Yeah.
remember? And I
Yeah.
didn't want to figure out so I'm like, I know I could just create there. And it took me 5 years. I had to get my cosmetology license. My mother said complete. The completion
Mm-hmm.
of cosmetology was to get a
Yeah.
instructor's license. So I went all the way and got an instructor's license. And now I'm out. I share your dreams. I started sharing my dreams with people. And one day I was bartending to survive, sweeping floors and bartending. And it was just me and a gentleman who was there, and he smiled twice. Now he just probably wanted to be served.
Yeah. Yeah.
It fit my
He mistook
barometer.
it. Yeah.
And
I
I was
love
like,
it.
I want to work for QVC.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. And he's
Okay.
cool because I work for Comcast, and my friend actually works for QVC. Now I've been sharing I want to work for QVC for 5 years. In the midst of this 5 years, I got no.
No, no, no,
I
no.
wasn't qualified. Like literally all the things. I even one day, this is not now, you can't drive to QVC, it's guards and everything. But back
You
then
went there.
I drove up. I was like, oh wait, they need to see my lights. That's why they're not saying I'm it. So I
Yeah.
drive up to QVC and
Yeah.
go in the front, and there's a security there. And I have a CD in my hand. I'm dating myself. I have my portfolio on a CD. And I'm like, I'd like to give this to the salon. And the
He
security
just kind of looked at you.
not pleasant at all. And he's like, ma'am, do you have a name? And I'm like, no, but I know this line. I just want to get. He's like, you actually have to turn around and leave. You don't belong on the premises if you don't have appointment. And so I share this because this is powerful, because we will experience this. Life gives us all these no's and these rejections.
Mm-hmm.
But God and our soul and our inner whisper will keep telling us the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie talks about this a lot
Yes.
in Worthy. Get the book. And it's like, who are you going to listen to? Because at that moment, I love when Jamie says that, because this is exactly a depiction of that moment. This gentleman who has no connection to me,
No. No. Yeah. Yeah.
he's turning me away, and my
Mm-hmm.
soul is crushed. I've been 5 years of no's, and now
Mm-hmm.
physically I'm there, and it's a physical no. And I'm humanly pouring in tears as I'm walking away. But I hear this, and it's not a whisper now. It's a clear message in me saying, you are going to walk through those doors one day.
Mm.
You're actually going to walk by that same man. And it said that very specifically. It was wild. And I'm like, what? And I'm
Okay.
like,
Okay. Now you're crying scared and happy tears.
comfortable because I'm like, there's truth telling me something, and then
Yeah.
my soul is broke. And I remember saying, okay. And so I keep sharing it. So now we're at the bar and I'm telling this gentleman, because I didn't give up on this dream.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, my friend works there. You know what? You're so much joy. Let me see what can happen. The next day, I give him my information. The next day, his friend, his name was Fred, I remember vividly, and Stephanie Humphrey, she's actually a dear friend of mine now. So crazy.
Yeah.
She had never met me. She text messages me and she says, my friend Fred gave me your information, said you were just this bright light of joy and that you want to work for QVC, and if I can help you in any way, please do.
Oh.
I paused for a minute because I love asking, how are you and who are you in the journey? Are you bitter? Are you hardened? Are you defeated? Like, you can be defeated. Like, you can be defeated and not be defeated. Like, are you acting defeated? Like,
Yeah.
is your spirit spewing out energy that is not of joy and possibility? Or are you light no matter what? Because then I just choose, like, it's not looking like I wanted to look, but I decided to root. One of my collections is rooted. I decide to root into joy no matter what. Root into love no matter what. Be light, meaning smiling and open no matter what. And I promise you that energy, because energy is powerful.
Yes, it is.
It will affect and effect
Everything
around.
Yes.
Maybe you can't get into QVC, but your energy can.
Yeah.
Like, you see that beauty?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This gentleman
I've gotten jobs because of my energy, not because of who I am. I know it.
Not because of our talents. I
No.
always say that. Not
Yeah.
And so I'd love to take a key to share and say, like, evaluate your energy. Because energy is transferred.
Yes.
It's created. We are all giving out energy. However you choose, no matter what, you are giving out some sort of it. And if you take an intentional evaluation of your energy and curate it in a way that it is kindness and love and joy, then it will precede you when you can't.
Right.
This beautiful heart says this, and she says, here's the contact information of QVC. Here's name, number, contact, and she closes. Remember, she's never met me. Use my information and use my name as a reference.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah.
And that moment, now in the 5 years, I must admit, I was learning for 5 years. Every no didn't stop me from training myself on where I wanted to be and who I wanted to be. And so for 5 years of development that I needed, because if I got it 5 years ago, it would have really been enough.
Yeah.
And so now I'm ready. And that information that Stephanie Humphrey gave me, Tech Life Steph, is on Instagram. She that walked me into the doors. I got an interview. I had learned all different hair textures, and that was the moment. Once I got into QVC,
the doors open.
Light was turned on because I got to see dream makers, which are these beautiful QVC hosts. I was styling them. They're taking people's dreams, which is their business, and they're sharing them to the world. And then I'm styling the dreamers, these entrepreneurs, these business creators. Yes, I'm from poverty. I don't even know how businesses started.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to see what business is and how, if you have something intangible like a heart and a mission and a passion, and then you take something tangible and you combine them together and you gift them to the world, it literally becomes changing to people.
Yes.
And I'm seeing this, I'm styling, I'm soaking it up. And so many beautiful hearts have blessed me over my time. You know, I could list on and on. Grace Mars, Susan Stolson, Patricia Lewis, like all these beautiful hearts. I could just name, 2P. But I take a moment to say these two names because they saw my light in the salon and they just said, come with me. And Jamie Kern Lima, who I mentioned before.
Yes, I love her.
Yeah, love her to pieces. Co-founder of It Cosmetics, New York Times bestseller twice now.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
I'll keep saying it.
Yeah.
And then Vicky Sai, founder of Tatcha Skincare, a luxury Japanese-based skincare line. And these beautiful hearts saw my light in the salon, and they said, come along with me. And they allowed me to travel around the world with them, and they allowed me to sit in rooms of business that I didn't even know existed. And so that's why I say exposure is the great equalizer. I get emotional because if you don't see it, you can't be it.
No.
If you don't know what is possible, then there's no way to dream it.
No.
Right.
I have on my computer right here a little tab. It says, what I pray for, I must work for.
Yes.
I can't just look around and hope that it happens. You have to keep moving forward. You got to keep
of it. And then the trenches will expose things to you. And so these beautiful hearts share their business life with me like a sister, and took a beautiful hair and makeup artist, which is such a wonderful opportunity. And they let me sit in business rooms that normally a hair and makeup artist wouldn't
doesn't do that. Yeah.
You sit in HR, wait a minute, in research development meetings, in PR press.
Wow.
And just things, and expose me to these things. And I start to look at my life, and every time I was styling someone, the last thing, like their outfit would be picked, their hair and makeup would be done, and right before they would walk into something huge alone, they would say, what bracelet do I put on? What earrings am I going to wear? And it was like this kind of seal, this official locking of an armor of I got this. Like this, like their seal of it's okay. And I start to remember my mother's words about how she said, always wear your earrings. They are the reminder of the lights. And I start to look at my life and like how I chose to root in light and kindness and perseverance. And that these hearts are allowing me and welcoming me into their presence because of that light. And I was hand sketching these sketches for me, and I was like, oh, we got to gift this to the world, because we need wearable symbolic of people were bringing me around in the rooms because of my energy. Maybe my time was okay, but it was really my heart and my energy. And it's like, how do we bottle this energy up to be symbolic for everyone to know it's possible? If you can wear something from Valencia Key, oh, it's possible. You're wearing, like, shine bright. You have to shine. I saw it. I was almost getting emotional when I saw it. It's that symbol, like seeing you wear it is like, shine bright no matter what.
Right. I have to today, and I'll share some of that with you. You know, my husband is sick and became ill in August, and today we have a CT scan, and I'm holding on to the light through that. You know, it's a hard time right now, but I still smile because I know who's in control no matter what the situation is.
No matter
I pivot. I've been pivoting, you know, through the hard. And that's what we have to do. But I appreciate this because it's been on me this week wearing, okay, the light. I know who has me and who has him. Yes.
Thank you. That's my prayer answered. I'm getting emotional because that's exactly why I created it. There's always the star of light, symbolic for you to see, like, the light is there for you no matter the roughest times.
Yeah.
When you're ill, if your loved one is ill, when you're in something, or even if you're in something great and you want to go greater,
yeah,
look for the light. Because if you allow darkness to set in, then it's all hopeless.
It's done. Yeah. And you stay in your misery. I get so frustrated with people that choose that. I'm like, why are you staying in misery when you can pivot? You can pivot.
You can understand reality. This is a
Yeah.
rough time. I'm going to pray through it. I'm not feeling comfortable. This is not good, but there is light waiting for me, and I have to trust the light. And then I have to listen to the light to say, what's my next steps?
Yeah.
Is it to be there to be support? Is it to pray?
Yeah.
Is it to hold your hand? What is it? Because the light's going to guide you if you allow it to.
Allow it. Yeah.
Thank you for that prayer. I mean, and for being my prayer answer, like hearing that. Thank you for sharing that, because that's everything I pray for. And I pray for your husband.
Thank you.
In a huge way, that he is touched from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet, and he's covered, and that you're covered, and that you all are in the light of God's will, and that it will be comforting through this time of rough, and that you have peace that surpasses understanding.
Yeah. His peace is beautiful. I mean,
isn't it? That's what the light is for me. It's like the lack of peace of people. I make bracelets that have peace check, joy check, love check, just for these visual reminders. I love reminders.
I do too. I still got to get my worthy bracelet. That's
oh my God, they're here. And worthy is a but peace is powerful, because it's so funny. You look at sales and you see what people really value. Like a lot of people love joy, a lot of people love love, because they're words we hear often. And those are words that you can really see a result of. Like, joy is really not this. Joy is like a base foundation that everything's going to be all good when it's not all good.
Exactly.
That's what joy is. And love is this unwavering kindness in the world, and this openness in the world. And so we get that, but a lot of people don't get peace. And so the sales of the peace bracelet is super slow. And I'm like, oh, but people don't get it. Like, if you understand that peace is the power source of joy and love,
then you're like, I need all three.
Exactly. And that's what you should be seeking.
Yes.
Because when you can find peace in the midst of a storm, and the heart, and when your heart, and when you actually, like this situation you're in, you don't have any control, and you actually have to give it over.
You have to give it over. And that's hard, because as a woman, what do we want to do? We want to
control it, solve it,
fix it.
Fix it, but when you're able to say, okay, I have to sit in this, I have to give it up and give it over. And in that sit, I have to have peace. Then joy can show up. And so it's just a powerful thing that I'd love hearts to create. And so through that beautiful, I decided to just jump, still doing hair and makeup, but deciding to bring this gift of Valencia Key in the world. Valencia meaning bravery and courage. I found that on a whole voyage. I went Egypt, Morocco, and Spain. That's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But I found that Valencia in a slang dialect means bravery and courage. And then in a store in Morocco, the store owner told me that key was symbolic of the key unlocks the light in your life.
Oh,
what? Hello. And so you will see in every creation that I make.
I love the key.
I wanted to use my name, because I was like, what? It's not me. It's not about me. But it is not about me. It is about Valencia meaning the bravery and courage that we all have. And then that the key is the key within us, that what my mother was saying, like, we have it inside of us. We have all of it, and all we have to do is just keep unlocking it.
Yes.
So I placed that key in the center of the star, and the star is made of the V of bravery and courage.
Yeah.
So that we walk through courage and bravery, always seeking the light, and that everything is possible, no matter what.
Right.
If we have breath, it's possible.
It's possible.
And so those wearable symbols. And so God has blessed me. I'm still hard. I'm still a small business. It's just me. My friends show up and help me, but I'm in the struggle of my next life, because I believe in this vision so much. I want it to be physical blessings for wearers like you, Laura, and everyone who wears it, to be symbolic on their journey in life. And then I also want part of that proceeds that come in to bless others who need support.
Yes.
Like work with Hearts in Africa making hand beaded bags. homeless shelters and speak on how do we unlock light in our lives. So I wanted us to be to be a blessing, but I'm just a poverty girl from homeless shelter, so I don't know business. So
I don't either. And that's why I've just done it blindly. I'm like, you know what?
exactly. And just keep going. I'm in the struggle of my life trying to understand business. How do I make sales? How do I keep sales? How do
How do I even keep track of it? You know, spreadsheets.
How do I keep? That's why I'm praying. Like, if anyone listens to this, if you know a retired CFO and accountant that wants to come on this journey pro bono until we make it, please call Valencia Key.
Yeah, show me the ropes.
Show me, because I don't know that. But what I know is that Valencia Key is a blessing in the world.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going to keep showing up and keep, especially like this beautiful share that you gave me, allows me to sit even straighter. Like I gotta keep bringing it because we need these symbols.
Oh, definitely. Everybody. There's so many hurting out there today and feeling like life is hopeless. And if they can just have something to hold on to, a simple thing that reminds you every day, okay, I can keep going.
And they allow Valencia Key to be symbolic of light. And like you to know that you can show up in joy even in the roughest times. Like right now, every product that I create is a blessing because I don't know how to create it. So
it's just pure joy. It came from within. Yeah.
And belief of what God told you to be so and this purpose to put out in the world. So I encourage everyone to keep showing up for what your inner whisper is saying, because wonderful hearts will see it. And even if they don't see it, when you know it to be true, you keep going and it will manifest. So that's how we get to a collaboration with Host Kyrsten Quest.
Yes.
April, because you, even in the struggle of me
navigating,
bumping my way through, it's pureness in there. And when you're pure and true and aligned, little miracles will happen.
Right.
So I pray that Valencia Key is symbolic of the miracles that can happen in your life.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I do a couple of things at the end here. And I always like to, I have some cards here. They're scripture. Yeah. And I just shuffle through them while we're talking.
Okay.
And as we get to the end, whatever's on top is what my scripture is that we read. Okay. And so today it says, I have set the Lord always before me because he is my right hand. I shall not be shaken. Psalm 16:8. I get chills because God puts them in the right time at the right place every time. And I'm just a stack of cards and I just sit here and shuffle while we were talking, and that's what's on top. And then I like to ask, what is something that you like to collect that's meaningful to you?
Yeah. I'm a collector of many things.
Okay, just one thing.
I'll give two things that I like to collect. One is so interesting. I love to collect masks, M-A-S-K, from different countries. I love creativity, and actually I look at the mask and I get inspired to create a piece of jewelry, maybe just from the lines and just culture. So I have masks. I had to stop myself. A whole haul of masks. I was like, okay, wait a minute. There's a fine line.
Yeah.
Slow down. And then this is weird. I never even shared. Not weird, but interesting. I love collecting piggy banks, but like all different banks. Like one from London that's like the telephone booth, like a pink piggy bank.
It has a symbol as for that place. Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. And because I was bells. I used to collect bells from everywhere. And then now I love to collect angels. And in fact, I have a beautiful painting that I always love to mention that I had a girl do. She's fighting colon cancer, and so she just started painting. And she's not a painter. And they're beautiful. And it's an angel. And I said, I want that because now every time I look at it, I can think of you and pray for you. And, it's just gorgeous. And I just love certain little angel things. I tried to control how many.
Me too.
Same thing. We had to downsize, and I'll tell you about that later. But, but Valencia, I always want to say Valencia instead of Lia because that name stands out.
When my grandmother was serious, she would say Valencia or Lia Valencia. Like that's when Listen,
This is serious. Valencia, thank you for being on my podcast, for figuring things out. And the dogs are going to bark now. But yes, thank you. Thank you for being here today.
It was a joy and an honor. I appreciate you. Love you.
Thank you for joining my podcast today. We all have a story to share. Each story has purpose and makes an impact to you, the listener, creating a journey with passion and purpose. The journey we're taking is the journey within you. Please share with others and subscribe below.